Today, in day 2 of the trial of a man from Buckfield accused of shaking his daughter, resulting in her death, prosecutors called doctors who treated that baby to the witness stand. Trevor Averill is charged with depraved indifference murder and manslaughter in the death of 2-month-old Harper Averill. News Center Maine's Raya Wooten was back in court and brings us the latest from Auburn.
Doctors and medical professionals who directly cared for 2-month-old Harper Averill testified in court, saying that the brain injuries that the infant suffered from showed to be one of the worst cases of possible non-accidental trauma and abuse that they've ever seen. Doctors and medical professionals who provided direct care for Harper at Maine Medical Center in Portland testified for the prosecution Wednesday that images from CT scans, X-rays, and other examinations all pointed to one possible cause of death: non-accidental trauma and abuse. On July 22, 2020, the 2-month-old was airlifted to Maine Medical Center after her parents called 911, reporting that the child choked while her father, Trevor Averill, was giving her a routine bottle feeding shortly after midnight. At some point during the feeding, they claimed that the baby became completely non-responsive. A doctor who was one of the first medical professionals to provide care for the infant at Maine Medical testified that while examining Harper, she noticed 2 bruises on her chest. She also says that when Harper's parents were asked about their daughter's medical history, they mentioned that they sometimes noticed bleeding under her tongue. According to the doctor, bleeding under the tongue can be an indication of bottle shoving. The doctor says that for that reason, she had suspicions that the child's injuries were caused by non-accidental trauma and abuse. She says images from CT scans backed up that diagnosis, showing bleeding and hemorrhaging in several parts of her brain, spine, and eyes. Doctors say there were even fractures in her skull, all indicators of shaken baby syndrome. One medical professional testified saying that she has treated some child trauma cases where children have fallen from high off the ground and cases where kids have been accidentally kicked in the head by horses. But none of those cases showed widespread bleeding in the eye or retinal hemorrhaging. Harper's case did. The doctor says the pathway between Harper's brain and eyes was severely damaged, and even if she had lived, she likely would have never been able to see again. Other exams showed a possible old rib fracture that was healing and inflammation to the liver, which doctors say can be caused by trauma or by squeezing infants. In Auburn, Raya Wooten, News Center Maine.